Here's a video for suppliers on our apprenticeship training dynamic marketplace on how to report your monthly management information returns to CCS. If you want to skip ahead to any particular section, pause here and use the timings on screen. What to do? You need to report management information to CCS each month, which means you need to tell us about any new contracts you've been awarded and tell us the invoices you've issued and ESFA funding received for any contracts you've been awarded through our commercial agreements. And if you don't have any active contracts, you need to tell us you've got no business currently. You tell us this information each month through the Report MI website, which we'll look at later. Why do it? Every supplier CCS works with needs to submit MI to us each month. It helps us to confirm the details of the contracts between buyers and yourselves. We use this information for forecasting, market analysis, and to calculate the levy that's paid by suppliers to CCS to cover the costs of running our agreements. For apprenticeship training, the levy is 1% of the monthly amount you've charged your customers on CCS contracts. When you signed up to be a supplier, you agreed to the terms of the commercial agreement, so to remain compliant, you need to submit MI on time each month. You may be removed as a supplier and even fined for persistently failing to submit MI, which nobody wants. When to do it? You need to start submitting MI returns from soon after you're contacted by our MI team. This will usually be a couple of weeks after you're appointed onto the apprenticeship training DMP. Submit MI by the end of the 5th working day of each month. Tell us the information for the previous month. In other words, MI reporting is done 1 month in arrears. For example, let's say it's currently April. When you go into the Report MI website in April, you'll be telling us about contract and invoice or funding information for March. For example, say you have 2 live contracts. It's April and you get an email saying March's MI is due. So last month in March you charged buyer A £600 and charged buyer B £400. So you input those details into your MI return. CCS takes that info, calculates the total, and we take that total figure of £1,000, calculate the 1% levy, which is £10, and CCS will invoice you, the supplier, £10 for that month. For most commercial agreements, the figures you input are values of invoices issued in the month you're reporting for, so March in this case. For the apprenticeship training agreement, as the financial model is unique, as well as any invoices issued, you'd input any funding received for awarded contracts in the reporting month. This is usually ESFA funding drawn down from an apprenticeship service account. Who can do it? Anyone in your organisation, and it can be multiple people if needed. They'll each need an account. If you've just joined the DMP and you've already been contacted by our MI team to start reporting MI, you can request additional accounts for your colleagues, which you can get by emailing report-mi@crowncommercial.gov.uk. Each account will be sent reminders to complete the MI returns each month. Where to do it? MI reporting is completed through CCS's Report MI website, reportmi.crowncommercial.gov.uk. And here's a demo of how to do it. First, head to the Report MI sign-in page and click Sign In. Type in the email attached to your Report MI account and your password. Click Sign In. This is the Report MI homepage. We're currently looking at a test site, so it looks much busier than yours will. Your aim is to keep this page clear by completing all your tasks on this page on time. Each task looks like this. It shows the reference and name of the commercial agreement you're reporting MI for, the month you're reporting MI for, a reminder that pops up if a task is overdue, a link to download the template you'll need to complete with your MI, and the button to click when you've completed the template and you're ready to submit your MI for the month. If you haven't yet been awarded any contracts through the commercial agreement, click Report No Business. And if you haven't got any new contracts to report and you're yet to issue any invoices or draw down any funding, also click Report No Business. If you have been awarded a contract in the reporting month but the service hasn't started yet, you should still report MI and just complete the Contracts tab in the template, which we'll look at shortly. Click the Report Management Information button when you've completed the template and you're ready to submit your MI for the month. To tell us you haven't had any business yet, just log in, go to the relevant task and click Report No Business. Check you've selected the right task and click Confirm No Business. That's it, you're finished reporting MI for the month for that agreement. If you do have business to tell us about, first download the MI template from the relevant task. Note the templates are different for each agreement. And this is what the MI template looks like. It's a spreadsheet with various titles across the top, and it's blank for you to complete. There are 5 tabs in the spreadsheet. The first 2 are the most important, the Contracts tab and the Invoices Raised tab. The first 2 tabs are the ones you need to complete. As an overview, the Contracts tab is where you report any new contracts you've been awarded in the reporting month with details such as estimated contract value, start and end dates, and number of apprentices. Contracts on the Contract tab should be reported on a one-off basis. So once you've added a new contract in on the Contracts tab, you shouldn't report the same contract again next month on this tab. However, you do need to report the invoices issued and funding received for that contract on a monthly basis on the Invoices Raised tab. As an overview, the Invoices Raised tab is where you report what you're charging your customers each month for the contracts you've secured via CCS that are live. Even though the title is Invoices Raised, for apprenticeship training this is also where you'd enter the ESFA funding you've received as payment for your services in the reporting month. So as a summary, for each reporting month, record new contract details in the Contracts tab, and in the Invoices Raised tab include the invoice and funding details for all live contracts. On to the other tabs in the spreadsheet. There's 2 guidance tabs, Unique Reference Number or URN Guidance Notes and Apprenticeship Standards. And the final tab you can ignore. So let's take a look at the first 2 tabs, the ones you need to fill in detail. The Contracts tab and the Invoices Raised tab. If you hover over each of the column titles, a pop-up will appear to explain what information you need to put in each column. They're all mandatory to fill in. You'll see some of the titles are the same in each tab. Let's take a look at them and how to fill them in. The first is the Supplier Reference Number. This is your reference number for the contract. Enter a reference that's specific to the contract you're reporting that will help you to distinguish between contracts. It can be in whichever format you want. Make sure to use the same reference for all future invoices or funding drawdowns relating to the same contract. Next, Customer Organisation Name. Enter the name of the organisation that your contract is with. Next, enter the customer's unique reference number. Find this by going to the URN Guidance Notes tab, which looks like this. Follow the link in this tab to the CCS Supplier Guidance webpage. Here you can find a range of written guidance for suppliers and get an up-to-date list of all the customer URNs. Find the reference number you need and head back to the right tab. Enter your retrieved customer URN. Apprenticeship route type. Is it an apprenticeship framework or a standard? As frameworks are almost phased out, it's probably a standard. Product code. Enter the 6-digit code for the apprenticeship standard covered by the contract. If more than one standard is included in the contract, you can split the information into separate lines and complete them separately. The code starts ST followed by 4 numbers. To check you've got the right code, use the Institute for Apprenticeships and Technical Education's website, which you can access by clicking the link in the Apprenticeship Standards tab. Level. Enter the level of the standard. They range from 2 to 7. Those 6 columns we've just gone through are in both the tabs you need to complete. Now we'll go through the Contracts tab and the Invoices Raised tab individually. So let's look at the Contracts tab, which as a reminder is where you report any new contracts you've been awarded in the reporting month. If you haven't been awarded any contracts in the reporting month, you can keep this tab blank. On to new contract details. So enter the estimated number of apprentices you're contracted to train. The date the contract was put in place, follow the day, month, year format. The expected training start date of the first cohort of apprentices. The expected training end date of the last cohort of apprentices. And the estimated total contract value. Make sure to keep it as a decimal number format only, otherwise the Report MI system won't recognise it when you upload it. Your completed contracts tab should look something like this. In this example, the supplier has been awarded various contracts in the reporting month. We have the supplier reference for each, the buyers and their URNs, and the details of the apprenticeship training in each of the contracts. For Chelmsford City Council, there's a couple of standards being delivered, so the details are entered separately. For months where you haven't been awarded any contracts in the reporting month, leave this tab blank. Now let's look at the Invoices Raised tab, which as a reminder is where you report what you're charging your customers each month for contracts secured via CCS. First, customer invoice/credit note date and reference number. Enter the date you issued the invoice to your customer, or the date the funding was drawn down. Follow the day, month, year format. And enter a reference for it. It can be in whichever format you want. Values. For unit of measure, enter per apprentice. There's a drop-down box and this is the only option. For quantity, enter the number of apprentices you've drawn down funds for or invoice for in the reporting month. For price per unit, enter the charge per apprentice you're being paid as part of the contract. It'll also be what you've drawn down in funding per apprentice for the reporting month. Under total cost, enter the total amount you're charging the customer in the reporting month. Total cost equals quantity times price per unit. So that's the same as the number of apprentices times charge per apprentice. Exclude VAT. You can either type in the total cost or use the formula function in Excel to calculate it. Make sure you keep it as a decimal number format only. If you're reporting a credit note because you overcharged a customer previously, then use a negative number. So your completed Invoices Raised tab should look something like this. In this example, a supplier has drawn ESFA funds down for various live contracts in the reporting month. Again, we can see the supplier reference for each, the buyer and their URN, the details of the apprenticeship training being delivered, and we have the values at the end. So for this example, this says that the supplier has a live contract with DEFRA. On the 12th of March, they drew down funds for HR support training for 5 apprentices at £200 per apprentice, making £1,000 drawn down. This last line tells us similar information, except the price and total cost are negative, meaning this denotes a credit note as the supplier overcharged the buyer previously. If you have live contracts, then you'll always have something to report in the Invoices Raised tab. Once you've completed both tabs on the MI template, sign in to Report MI, go to the relevant task and click Report Management Information. Check you're in the right task and click Choose File and select the MI template you've just completed. There's an optional section at the bottom. If you need your own purchase order number on the invoice that CCS will issue to you for the 1% management levy, then enter the PO number in this box. If it's not needed or you don't have all the info you need right now, then leave it blank. When you're ready, click Upload and check File. If everything is correct, you'll see the review screen. Check the summary of what you've reported, and if it's correct, click Submit Management Information. And that's it, you're finished reporting MI for that month for that agreement. If you spot an error though, or the system spots an error, you'll need to amend your MI spreadsheet. If the system spots any errors, it will give you details on what you need to correct, so open up your MI spreadsheet to amend it. Once you've amended your MI spreadsheet, click Upload Amended File and follow the process that we went through before. And if everything goes through okay, you're finished reporting MI for the month for that agreement. To amend a previous month's MI submission, start on the home page and click on Completed Tasks at the top. This will show you the list of MI that your organisation has submitted for previous months, split by commercial agreement. To amend an MI return, find the one you need to change and click View. You'll see a summary of the return. You can download a copy of the MI spreadsheet by clicking the link, and you can review the summary of the MI that's been submitted. Note that when you go through this process to correct an MI return for a particular month, you are replacing the MI return entirely. What you upload will overwrite the existing MI that's been recorded for that month, so make sure you include everything that needs to be included, not just the top-up. If your new return changes how much levy is owed to CCS, the system will automatically send out a corrected invoice or credit note to you. Once you've corrected the MI spreadsheet, click Correct this return and follow the usual upload process. Your next steps. 1. If you've just joined the DMP, wait to be contacted by the MI team. This will usually be a couple of weeks after you're appointed onto the Apprenticeship Training DMP. They'll use the main email you submitted when you applied to join. 2. If you're logged in, you can set up extra Report MI accounts if you want to, by contacting the Report MI mailbox. 3. Share this video with your colleagues that will be completing MI. 4. Look out for MI reminders. They'll be sent on the first working day of each month. And most importantly, 5. Complete MI each month going forward. For MI queries and support, email report-mi@crowncommercial.gov.uk. For general queries and support, email info@crowncommercial.gov.uk. Thank you.